Good morning and good evening to some of you, and welcome to the Innovations in Finance webinar series. This series introduces innovative financing mechanisms that contribute to development solutions, linking needs, objectives, and actual results. This series will focus on results-based financing in particular, which has emerged as an important tool for financing basic services because it changes the focus from inputs, funding given in advance of expected results, to verified outputs. My name is Jessica Lopez. I'm an operations officer with the Global Partnership on Output-Based Aid, or GPOBA, and I'll be the moderator for this session. My colleague Rokeya Ahmed will deliver the presentation, and she'll lead the Q&A session. Rokeya is a water and sanitation specialist with the World Bank, with over 16 years of experience in the South Asia region, much of which has been in Bangladesh and in sanitation. She's contributed to the promotion of community-led total sanitation and sanitation marketing by engaging the private sector and other financial institutions. Rokeya is the team lead for the Bangladesh OBA Sanitation Microfinance Program, which is the project that we'll be discussing during the session. This webinar is aptly timed, given that this past Sunday was actually World Toilet Day. This UN-designated day is about inspiring action to tackle the global sanitation crisis, which is exactly what we're trying to do here. This is a project which brings together the domestic private sector, financial institutions, and households to support bottom-up sanitation mobility of rural households. So this is really a good example of maximizing financing for development, and Rokeya is someone who's truly passionate about this topic, so I think you all are in for a real treat. Before we begin, just a bit of housekeeping. So the presentation will be about 20 to 25 minutes, after which we'll have a Q&A session. And we highly encourage your participation through the chat box at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to type any questions or comments that you may have during the presentation. We'll take note of them, and then we'll address them during the Q&A session. If we aren't able to get through all of them within this hour, we can continue the discussion on our OBA RBF community of practice. We can actually type the website perhaps in the chat box so you're able to see the address. And the recording will also be posted on this site as well. So now I'll go ahead and hand it over to Rokeya in Dhaka, and she can talk to you more about the project.
Hi, everybody. Good evening from Dhaka and good morning for DC. I am presenting joint work with GPOBA and Water GP, which we started the pilot in 2011 from the Water and Sanitation Program. Later, we scaled up with the support of GPOBA. Bangladesh is a global reference point, and this is the country who innovated community-led total sanitation, and very quick time they have moved open defecation. And 99% people have access to a toilets, which is very basic toilets. We know that one of the main reasons for sanitation services to get health impact. But the type of toilet Bangladeshi people are using, only 37% toilets have the facility which actually block the germs transformation. 61% toilets are improved, 26% toilets are shared, and the good news is only 1% toilets are people are defecating in the open. And we did a study from WSP in 2011-12, and we found that more than 80% people contributed their own savings, purchased their own toilets, and only 20% very poor people, extreme poor people, received some kind of subsidy, which is around $12. So what next after open defecation free status? Does the nation need to support again to the people, especially poor people, to move up the sanitation ladder from a basic toilet to a hygienic sanitation, which will have a health impact, which will have a facility for fecal sludge management, containment improvement, and also a toilet house, wash and cleanable floor, which actually encourage people to use. Not only the adults, even children will feel actually encouragement to use this toilet. Considering all these factors, we started a pilot program how to bring this type of new technology, new type of toilets in the market in an affordable price to the poor people. In Bangladesh, there are very small scale entrepreneurs who sells mainly two parts of the basic toilets. One is the ring for the pit and another one with slab with a plastic pan. So we actually started working with them how to bring a new generation. You can see the photo, this type of toilet in the market, and we branded the floor, cemented floor in red color because red is very festival color in Bangladesh. And this new type of toilets is little bit more expensive than the basic toilets. And entrepreneurs, their capital was not that much to bring this toilet in the market to produce this. They don't have any asset to give collateral and get the loan from the commercial bank, and they don't know how to marketing their product because in sanitation movement which happened in Bangladesh from 2003 to 2008 mainly, the mobilization was happened by local government, NGOs, health workers, and these entrepreneurs they actually sold their product from the shop. They never went to the community marketing there. So it's a new technique for them how to do the market promotion. So what we did, we trained these entrepreneurs. We convinced, first we went to commercial bank but could not success to link them for the loan. Finally we convinced Microfinance Institute to give them loan, and we supported them for the market promotion. It's more than demand creation. We actually trying to bring social marketing approach rather than a huge mobilization. And this is a partnership between household, microfinance institution, and this type of very small scale business farm. Those capital initially was $300. After getting the loan from microfinance and their own investment, now most of their capital is $1,000. And the household who are the customers, they are moderate poor, they are lower middle class, and these people have willingness to purchase a good toilet, but they don't have the savings to purchase a $100 toilet, $130 toilets. So we actually tried to convince this MFI, not only giving, initially they started giving the loan only entrepreneurs, but we found that the poor people cannot afford, do not have savings, and then we convinced the MFI to give the household loan, and it's actually changed the situation dramatically. Initially, we worked a very large scale MFI known as ASHA. This is now the largest MFI in Bangladesh, even bigger than Grameen. And they have branches all over Bangladesh, and they have 9 million members. And from this experience, we actually wanted the sustainability of this program, wanted to mainstream with the government financing institute. So, Pulli Karma Sahayak Foundation is a government financial institute They give capital to the MFI, small, medium scale MFI to Bangladesh to give loan to the poor people and mainly for income generation. So we lobbied with them and finally they are convinced and then they engage their 20 partners and plus Asha 21 partners organization. We started a new project and from the support of GPOBA, their $22 million household loan, this 21 MFI are providing in rural Bangladesh. It's almost 32 district covering because we wanted, it's a demonstration project and marketing. We are expecting spillover effect and target is 170,000 household. So this and in this project, what actually 3 million GPOBA grant is doing. GPOBA grant is mainly this is we call subsidy. Sometimes it's 10 to 12.5% for the household, but to me it's more than actually subsidy. It's encouragement fund because we don't have that much of demand creation activity. It's actually creates demand among the people when they get find that this if they take this loan they will get 10% subsidy, 12% subsidy, that encourage them. And when these MFI workers actually try to motivate them, this is one of the motivational factors. So this is very good project for to encourage the people. This only a few dollars encourage many people to construct a good toilets. So these 22 million dollar investment is coming from absolutely from PKSF and ASHA. This is their own capital, so we did not contribute anything. And this project is linked with a very small technical assistant from GWSP trust fund. So from this trust fund, we are providing training to the entrepreneurs, to the and supporting it in them for market promotion. And the fund, if you look at the fund flow, how it's works, so this PKSF is under the Ministry of Finance, so this is very much government. So World Bank have we have agreement with Ministry of Finance and PKSF. So PKSF is giving money to the partner organization capital, and this money is going to the household. And after construction, and we have a catalog. We try to promote multiple design of toilets, and these toilets must be hygienic, must be offset pit, must be a toilet house and a cemented and washable floor. So these are the condition, and we are promoting the facility of it can be converted as a twin pit. So most of the households they don't have the now the money to construct a twin pit house first time, but we are encouraging them to have a when it will filled up, so they can have second pit. So there is a provision. All the toilets they have a provision to for twin pit. So these after construction of these toilets by trained entrepreneurs, trained by us from the World Bank Technical Assistance, the independent verification agency, they are verifying a minimum 5% to all partners, around 8 to 9% altogether. And after these verifications, we are channeling the subsidy money to PKSF to give them the partners. So this is output-based aid. So what are the achievements? Though this is a very small project, but this is actually created an example of Bangladesh, how the poor people can move up the sanitation ladders. And there are many new design of toilets available in the market now after this initiatives. And for this MFI, this is the first time they are promoting the second generation of toilets with more than $100 loan to the beneficiary. And most importantly, some of this MFI worked for sanitation loan before, but they never worked with the private sector. So this is the first time they are working with very small scale private sectors. And the project, though we designed it 2 years ago, but it took more than a year to get approval from the government. It's only 9 months it started. After it started, there is a huge rain and flood, so they could not actually construct much more. So So around 17,000 toilet already constructed, but they are hoping in the winter season, November, December, by February, they can actually March they can achieve the target. So 100% repayment rate, and the private sector also receive around 400,000 loan from this MFI, and this is actually very much benefiting for the poor people because we are in the one side they are getting loan, they can repay back it in a year, and they are getting competitive price because we are promoting more than a one entrepreneur in one geographical location. They can go to the market, they can choose their own toilets, own color, own, so that's empowered them. And this is a new investment in the sector from MFI, and whenever MFI, it's a win-win. They are also getting benefit from this loan, and the clients also benefit. When both the parties are benefit, there's a huge uh, potential of sustainability of this program. If you are not there, so I hope MFI will continue this thing. After looking at this positive result, the Bangladesh government recently requested the bank to have a IDA credit, which is around $200 million. So still we are thinking that what scale we will support them. And there we are thinking maybe in some geographical location we will support for inclusive sanitation. So all people will have a hygienic toilet. And there will be a credit line all over the Bangladesh for water and sanitation. So bottom 40% people who do not have access to the commercial bank, they have the option to get loan and purchase their own water and sanitation facilities. And there will be huge activity on market development, and this is bringing the water and sanitation technology at the doorsteps of all people one side, and another side helping the very small scale entrepreneur to develop their business. So that will also benefit them, and that will be one of the aspect of sustainability. Still we are it's a very beginning of this project, so we are looking, hope by January we can start designing this project. uh, these are the outcome of a very small initiative from WSP, then GPOBA. Now we are thinking to IDA, and hope this program will expand in Bangladesh, and this example we can take other parts of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rokeya. And it's exciting to hear about the possibilities of expanding this approach nationwide through the potential scale up. So now I'll go ahead and open it up to questions and answers. Why don't we start with one of the first questions that we received, which is a very good question. Why are the microfinance institutions motivated to participate and invest in this project? What is the incentive for them? And okay, I'll let you go ahead and
every
take this question.
organization, by NGO, even the bank, we have some social responsibility. We wanted to show that we are not doing only business, but we are contributing for the better of the people. That's the is actually, and they are trying to do many things. The thing that's attractive, that if we, that will have a health benefit, and that will help their clients to do other work very, and it's also very much, it's visible that this water and sanitation, we have service of water and is very much visible. It's gender sensitive because it's benefit girls. So considering all this aspect, that they convinced, one thing. And the second thing is that we provided some sort of training, other supports. We are together with them. They wanted to learn from us, so they find that World Bank is very good partners to learn any project, so that they can promote it not only with us, even other donors or their by themselves. That's attracted them. And finally, the PKSF, that PKSF, this is a, they are doing mainly income generation, and they did housing loans, other loans, but they never did a very big, large scale water and sanitation project. So sanitation is a very top agenda for not only Bangladesh globally. So they wanted to try it, and they got the opportunity from us that they have a confidence that if they work with us, that will be very good for them also. So that's why they all of them they decided to work with us. Thank you very much. First, actually, we tried both. I went to a few commercial banks, so it's very difficult to.
Thanks, Rokaya. Can I ask you perhaps to sit just a bit closer to the mic? It was a little difficult to hear part of the response to that question. Maybe let's move on to the next question. So, from Juliet Pumpuni, how did you determine to work with local MFIs under this project rather than working with commercial banks or any other financing sources?
Commercial back with very small scale entrepreneurs and household levels because they don't go to the people's house. People have to come to their house, and water sanitation is needs also some motivational activity. So people don't come to the bank. Bank goes to them in MFI. So this is one thing, and second thing, the commercial bank without collateral and the format and other things they have to fill up. Now most of the bank is working online. So these people are not literate. Their educational qualification maximum 5 grade, 3 grade, even somebody doesn't know how to read and write. So they don't feel comfortable with commercial bank. And the second thing we consider that the MFI have a huge network in Bangladesh, and they have 28 million borrowers currently in Bangladesh. So if you can convince them, at least 1 million people get the CS, there is a spillover effect that demonstration and others they will continue use, and they can cover at least half of their clients in last 10 years, which will be a very good contribution to achieve the SDG. So considering all these factors, we went to the MFI. It's red color, and then that in Bangladesh, that poor people they use mainly rag for this ministerial.
Okay, and the next question, what kinds of consumer preferences were taken into account when designing the toilets? I know you talked about using the red color, for instance. And were there any gender considerations taken when designing the toilets?
And they wash and clean it in the toilet. So our toilet is a little bit larger in size. So as it is a cemented floor, that's helpful for them. And we are encouraging them that to construct to toilet to the in beside the living room, even inside the living room. Before the practice was it's far away from the house, from the living room. But now we are convincing them, which is actually very much gender sensitive at dark night and any rainy season and any time women girls can use it. So we considered all this, and a very good toilet house with a lockable door is also very helpful for women and girls. Pardon, Jessica, I didn't understand your question.
Thank you, Rakaya. And we have another question coming in. How about hand washing? I know this is part of the activities kind of covered in the demand creation, market promotion activities on the World Bank side. So maybe you can talk a little bit about, um, is this offered with some of the toilet technologies, and what is the uptake at this point?
We tried to promote hand washing devices a lot, and we developed three different.
Sorry. So in reference to hand washing, maybe you could talk a bit about, on the WSP side, what is involved in terms of creating demand for hand washing? Are the hand washing devices offered with the toilet technologies under this project? And at this point, what is
inside
the
the
uptake?
toilets. And with every toilets, our entrepreneurs are offering this hand washing this. Very positive side is that up to now, all 17,000 toilets have hand washing, 100%. Hi, Jessica. For demand creation, we avoided the very traditional NGO approach, health workers.
Okay, thank you. Maybe let's wait and see if we have any other questions coming in. In the meantime, kind of on that same note, maybe you can go into a bit more, again, from some of the upstream work that WSP has done in terms of market promotion, demand creation. Um, could you talk a little bit more about those kinds of activities and some of the work that you all are doing?
Because we wanted to promote a sustainable approach, and there we tried to use the social marketing approach. So we provided one field worker for 20 entrepreneurs to support them for marketing, and we developed some materials for them, album with multiple design of toilets, cost and everything, posters, even some video clip for market promotion, signboard in the areas, and practical demonstration, and all these things. And we always actually encourage this entrepreneur to go to the community and show their multiple design, price, and other things. We told our field workers, uh, uh, you will be always behind, and put these entrepreneurs in front so they learn how to do the market promotion. This is one thing we did. Then we engage also with local government. We give posters and other things with mobile phone number, and yes, to the local government office. We convince them to talk, to go to with them, this type of things. Sometimes we did one in sanitation fair also in one area. Later, we actually decided not to do this type of thing. Otherwise, they will be too dependent on us. We did not want this. So we did not do any very big event, but very small thing, which actually without us, these entrepreneurs will be able to carry out. So that's was our target, and that's worked actually very good. And as it is actually through microfinance staff, these microfinance staffs every day they go to the community. Once in a week, they have a credit group meeting. We collect the installment. So we also giving them some material. So one page, two page with colorful photo and something. So they're also showing their borrowers this type of, and some one or two things about health benefit, not many things, because they don't have time and to do this, and we did not want to invest huge money on training on this. So very simple message we try to give them. So this way, and then one thing worked very well, the demonstration effect. So once the first two three toilets in a village is little bit takes time, but when it's actually after two three toilets constructed in a village, so they invite other people to come and visit. So that's become a more than a health issue. Sometimes it's become people a prestige issue. So they wanted to have a good toilet. So demonstration has a very good impact on this. So this way we try to create the demand and market promotion. So but with very minimum cost and minimum effort from us. Fecal slash management, if you think it's a very big issue, and it's from the
Okay, and I may just ask one last question, unless we receive any additional questions from the audience. But one thing that is really important with any sanitation project, of course, is fecal sludge management. So you touched a little bit on the twin pit design. Maybe you could speak a little bit more about how that works and some of the other techniques that are used for fecal sludge management.
Emptying, then treatment. So in this type of project, it's very difficult to do this. But we are trying to do the minimum, how they can actually, we give them the message that if you want to empty the pit, they will empty it and they will dispose it safely. And we encourage them don't empty the pit rather than construct a new pit. So one pit filled up and then second pit they will start. When the second pit filled up, then the previous pit they will start. This way they can do it. It's a very minimum requirement as there Bangladesh is in the stage of moving up the ladder. So from a basic to a hygienic. So next time that the country very minimum number of treatment plant we have, and we hope from the bank we are funding another project to construct treatment plant. If we have treatment plan close to our project area or other, we may consider how they can transport and pit empty and other things. Still, we are not considering because this is expensive, so people cannot manage it. Rather than twin pit is a very good option. For the question,
Thank you. And we have another question from Sarah Tokmakian. Has there been any instance where the OBA subsidy was withheld? And is
no, it's still not. It's still not. There is no.
Has there been any instance so far under the project where the OBA subsidy was withheld? If there was any
Still
reason
there
that
is
the
it's
outputs were
manageable
not
for
met
us, and
and
OBS
the
subsidy
OBA
is very
subsidy
much
was not
we are
dispersed?
considering this
And is
currently
this a risk under the project?
as it is
Or
still with the
maybe
joint
you could say,
entrepreneurs. So when it will be very large, no, there, but this is still manageable for us. Still, we did not find any toilet who is actually is not matching with our
okay, I
criteria.
think we may be having
Uh,
some technical difficulties. It looks like the camera has frozen on the other end. Okay, can you hear us? Okay.
Thanks, Jessica, for your moderation.
Well, I can go ahead and take a crack at this question then. Um, so, by definition, output-based aid is only dispersed, of course, if the outputs have been achieved. In this case, it would be quality installation of these hygienic latrines um, by a trained local construction entrepreneur. And I think that's kind of one of the safeguards that we have here is that households have to select one of the sanitation entrepreneurs that are also involved in some of the training programs with the MFIs, with the World Bank. These firms are also getting small business loans, as Rokaya mentioned earlier, from the MFIs. So it really helps them to expand their businesses and to ensure that they're really doing a quality job. So as far as I know, at this point in the project, there has not been any instance where the OBA subsidy was withheld. So we haven't encountered that yet. Let's see. Looks like we're still having technical difficulties. But this may be a good point to go ahead and wrap up the webinar. I think we've answered the majority of the audience questions. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Again, the presentation, the recording of this session, and any potential further discussion can be found at our OBA RBF community platform, which, as you can see on the screen here, is at gpoba.org/community. And finally, we also invite you to join us next week for the next webinar in this series, which will be on the Ghana Solar Home Systems Project. This is another example of blended finance, and this will be on November 30th. Thank you.